Hey, welcome to the Shifter Studio. I'm your host, Coach C. I assist parents who are struggling with stress and family discord and support them on their shift to parental peace. Today is day two of navigating parenthood. We will be delving into the intricacies of modern parenting and offering insights and support. Well, I have to say this. I am very tired. You will not believe that I just recorded this session and was told that the video had somehow been corrupted. So this is my take two after doing a complete video. So please forgive me if it sounds like I'm talking a little quickly because it's getting late. The slide before this slide that you are currently watching was a picture from me tonight at Zumba. We're going to talk about health and wellness this evening, but not just the health and wellness of our children, but our own health and wellness and how we can serve as our children's first and best example. Oh boy, when you're talking about health and wellness, there are so many layers and so many areas that children are impacted by when things are going great regarding health and wellness and when things are going not so great. So, when we're speaking about health and wellness, we are not just talking about the physical, we are also talking about mental health and wellness, emotional health and wellness, spiritual health and wellness. We're also talking about things like nutrition and exercise. We're also talking about stress management. So let's get into it. When we talk about physical health, the first thing that folks want to jump to is the scale. How many pounds does this person weigh? Are they big? Are they little? Are they fat? Are they skinny? Please know that when we're speaking about our children, physical health is not just about the scale. It's also a quality of life issue. And that's an issue for both our children and ourselves. So, can your children get around doing the things that typical, and I'll put that in air quotes, we should say many, we could say, we could say the average teen or young person can do, meaning, can they walk? Can they walk from their house to school? Can they go to the store? Can they push a grocery cart around the store and go shopping? Can they shovel the snow? The things that we do that are everyday things. Are they able to do those things without labored breathing, without breaking out into a sweat? Mhm. And as we think about our children, we can ask those same questions of ourselves. Can we conduct and perform the quality of everyday life things and do those things without becoming with labored breathing and bursting out into sweat? Can we walk up a flight of stairs without breathing heavy? Some things to consider. Mental health. We know that if we are not feeling the best mentally, it impacts every aspect of who we are. As children, if the mental health is not as it should be, it will show up in school. It will show up in their relationships. It will show up in your home. So, mental health is just as important as physical health, and is definitely an area of concern for many parents. Uh, are you comfortable having the conversation with your children regarding how they are feeling? Not just how they are doing, but how they are feeling. How are you? Is everything okay? If something were bothering you, would you come to me and tell me, right? It's important that We provide a safe space for our children in order for them to trust that they can come to us when they are struggling, if they are struggling mentally. Emotional health. Are they happy? Are they able to sustain relationships? That's not the same as do they have a boatload of friends? Not the same at all, right? You could be totally happy and only have a handful of people that you feel close to. That's normal and that's okay. Um, do they feel as if they have agency over their body, over their person, over their future? Do they feel like they are in a position to make decisions for themselves? Talk about nutrition. What are they eating? What are they drinking? I know from working in school every day, I see many children coming into the school with hot Takis and juice or soda, and that's breakfast. Well, the school has breakfast. The school has breakfast available for every scholar. But before they get to school, they come in with the little black bag full of trash. So, yes, nutrition is definitely a big one that parents should keep their eyes on. Exercise. Remembering the difference between exercising as if you are training for an event and exercising just for your own and well-being. How do our children manage stress? We all have days we can feel the stress rising up in our neck, coming to the base of the skull, rising up the back of the head, and coming up to the top, right? How if we have problems managing that, if we sometimes snap when someone asks us a question because we're stressed out, if we are not sleeping properly, how do you think our children are dealing with managing stress? So, absolutely, it is an area of concern for many parents. Children don't just begin to develop stress at the age of 18. So, definitely, stress is a major concern. I'm going to say this before we get into the tips, tools, and strategies. I want to call your attention to the slide that you are currently watching. You see different pictures of Coach Connie, almost like some before and afters. And what I will say is, Coach Connie is not perfect. However, she is still in the fight, still in the midst of transition. A cautionary tale. We are put on this earth not only to service others, but to serve ourselves, to be our best, to be happy, to be able to be mobile, to be able to move in the ways that we want to move. I jeopardized that. I almost was placed flat on my back. Scary when I think about it. You can see in the pictures that there has definitely been a shift for Coach Connie. 4 years ago, no, 5 years ago, my sister came to my home and made me go to the emergency room with her. When we got there, after the doctors ran some tests, they came out and told us that it was lucky that my sister had brought me to the hospital when she did, because if I would have not been brought to the hospital, I would have drowned in my sleep in a couple of days. Unbeknownst to me, there was fluid in my lungs. You know, they say it only takes like a quarter of a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of fluid for you to drown. I had fluid surrounding my lungs, in my lungs. I had a cough that wouldn't go away, and I just thought it was a bad cold. Here, I was coughing because I was drowning and I didn't know it. So thank God that my sister made me go to the emergency room. But how did I get there? How did Coach Connie get to a place where she was 2 days away from death? Because Coach Connie had symptoms and she did not check them out. She kept going. Why? Because I'm a mother. Why? Because I am a school employee. Why? Because I am a community advocate. So I'm constantly going for everyone else, going, going, going. And while I'm going, the water level or the fluid level in my lungs is rising, rising, rising. And I'm getting worse off. And I don't know why, but I'm just coughing and moving away, breathing heavy when I had to walk, having to take lifts and Ubers to cover short spaces. So the things that I just talked to you about in terms of a healthy well-being and a healthy mode of life, at that time, I wasn't following those very things that I just talked to you about. So it took somebody else reaching their hand in and pulling me along and saying, no, you deserve better than this. You deserve to be in a body that enjoys movement, to be in a body that is refreshed with water, to be in a body that stimulates you to try different things. And I thank goodness, thank the Creator that the message seeped in. Now, I would say that whereas before I couldn't move if I wanted to, now movement is, I'm not going to say it's an obsession because that's an unhealthy word, and I'm not obsessed, but it's something that I feel like I want to do every day. I get to move. Looking at a Instagram reel, and it talked about changing the language around things like exercise and diet. I get to exercise as opposed to I have to exercise. I get to be more careful about the foods that I'm eating as opposed to I have to be more careful. One sounds like an obligation, the other one sounds like a gift. So remember that. Now, we don't just come here to identify the issues, we also want to discuss tips, tools, and strategies to support the collective. So, as a parent, how can we help our children to maintain their overall health and well being? Number one, you could be your family's first and best example. And it's never too late. You can move from being a cautionary tale to being an example of health, fitness, nutrition, etc. It happened to me, it can happen to you. So please know that your children are watching. I unfortunately was not the best example of healthy living when my children were small. Thank goodness they had other people to watch because I was not it back then. I am becoming it now, but I was not it back then. So be your family's first and best example when it comes to healthiness, well being. And remembering that health and well being is not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual as well. Number two, don't be afraid to look foolish in front of your children. And I say foolish with the air quotes because it's not that you look foolish, it's that you're learning how to do something new and you don't have it down pat. That's everyone who learns something new. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try to do the hula hoop. You haven't done the hula hoop in 30 years. Don't be afraid if you look like the Tin Man, like I did when I tried to do the hula hoop after 35 years. Don't be afraid of that. Have a little giggle, share a laugh. Trust me, your children are not looking at you as if you are trying out for the Olympics. They are just happy to see you move. Sometimes they will join in with you. And three, we have to make sure that we are looking at health and wellness as more than the scale, as more than the size clothes that we are wearing, as more than weight loss, weight gain, skinny, fat, all of those things, and as more than if you have a child who is active. It's more than being the top performer on a team. So often, children want to go out for certain teams because they have a curiosity around the sport, or even if they want to just be with their peer group. Sometimes we parents rush in and make it all about competition where they probably weren't even thinking about the competition aspect. They just wanted to hang with their friends. Sometimes they just wanted to hang with their friends. They just wanted to learn a new sport. So make sure that we are supporting our children by looking at health and wellness as more than a number on a scale. It's also about the ease at which you handle life's everyday tasks. Okay, so a bonus picture on the slide. Those are my twins. It's my frick and frack, as we affectionately reference them as frick and frack. And one final reminder or favor: if anything, even if it was the smallest thing, because Coach Connie is very tired because this is the second time that I shot this video. So if there's anything, any small thing that resonates with you, that made you think, that made you say, oh, wow, that frustrated you, annoyed you, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again for joining us. Day 3 is on the horizon. Take care.